Hello everyone, I'm Pudge007, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up your PlayStation 4 controller in order to play Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance on PC that was recently released from GOG.com. Now, one of the good things about playing Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance on PC through GOG.com is that once you plug in a PlayStation 4 controller, a DualShock 4 controller, into the PC via USB, it's ready to go. You don't have to add any extra software or hardware to get it to use, such as DS4 Windows. You don't have to worry about any of that. Once you plug it in, you're good to go. But once you may have noticed when you start playing the game, the controls are way off. And you would think if you went to the options within the game, there might be a way to change the controller settings, but however, there is not. The only way you can do that is through the game folder itself when you're not actually in the game. There's a configuration setting that you're supposed to go to in order to do that. So in this video, I'm going to take you step by step how to get to that particular file within the game folder, so you can change that yourself, and I'll show you the specific controller prompts that you'll want to put in there so it plays like you would if you were playing it on PlayStation 2 or if you were playing the HD collection on the PS3. So without further ado, let's get to it. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to open up the game folder for Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance on your PC. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you the default location where most people that have purchased this game and installed it from GOG.com, that default location would be on your computer. So if you know that you placed it in a different location, just be sure to go there. But again, I'm going to show you how to get to the game folder for the default location from when you get the game from GOG.com. So the first thing in order to get there is you're going to open your File Explorer and then open up the C drive, and then open up Program Files, x86, then open GOG Galaxy. From there, double click on the Games folder, and then double click and open Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. Now, once you have the game folder open, you're going to want to go to the bin folder. So make sure you double click and open the bin folder, and then you'll scroll down and look at where it says mgs2sconfig.exe. So that's the one you're going to want to double click and open. So double click and open that. Then it opens up this box, which you can actually run the game from here, but it's also the prompts where it gives you how to set up the options in order to set the controller settings for your PlayStation 4 controller. Prior to opening up the configuration settings, make sure that you have your PlayStation 4 controller plugged into your PC either via USB or Bluetooth. And once you have that done, go ahead and click on the Options button, and then click on the tab where it says Key Config. And this is where you're going to change this the controller settings on your PlayStation 4 controller. Now, it won't let you do the left up, left down, left right, or left buttons, because that's the D-pad, and you're not going to have to worry about that. So that's not. It doesn't let you change it. That's not something you're going to need to set anyway, because it's where it needs to be. So, now, the first one that you're going to want to change, where it says Crawl A, go ahead and click over to where it says Button 2. BTN2, and then click the X key, and it should say button 1 now. So now X should correspond with the crawl button. And the next thing you want to do for punch, it says button 1 now, but go ahead and when you do that, press the circle button. When that's there, now that should change to button 2. Now this might sound a little odd, but for L1, actually, you're going to want to press the L2 button. For some reason, L1 here really actually corresponds with what L2 should be when you're playing a Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. So go ahead and hit the L2 button for L1. And when on L2, make sure you hit the L1 button. Because if you don't do it that way, those keys that are for the normal default configuration for when you're playing this on PlayStation 2 or for the HD collection on PlayStation 3. You have to switch those in order for it to actually be correct, to be with the correct button that corresponds to if you're wanting to play with those controller settings. Now for the weapon key, go ahead and click over there where it says button 3 and hit the square button. It should say button 0 now. And then for the action Y button, click over where it says button 0, but when you click that, click the triangle key and it should say button 3 now. Now this will be the same as for the L1 R2 buttons. For over where the one where it says for R1, it says button 5, but hit the R2, your actual R2 button on your PlayStation 4 controller, it should say button 7 now. And then for R2, make sure you hit the R1 key. Again, that's just to make sure it has it reversed for whatever reason whenever you're using the PlayStation 4 controller. But if you do it that way, these configuration settings, it should correspond to whatever the default controls when you're playing on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3. Now, for where it says L3, there's a blank space there, but go ahead and press in the left stick. It should say button 10. For R3, it should already be correct there where it says button 11. So if you press in, it goes away. If you press in again, it says button 11 again. So it should say button 11 there for the R3 key. And these should already be correct as well, but let's just double check those. For back, where it says button 8, hit the share button and takes it away and puts it right back. So button 8 is correct. For start, hit the options key or options button on your controller and then put it back and it's button 9, so that's correct. Now where it says first person view, the R1 button is what does that actually, so you just leave that blank. And on where it says slow, just go ahead and press in the left stick so it takes that away, because that's not something you're going to need to do anyway. Now this will be important. Now where it says mouse right stick, make sure you unclick that button there so you can actually use the right stick for whenever you need to use that later on in the game. So whenever you're using, like I say, if you're playing with Raiden and you're using the sword, this is how you would use that instead of using the mouse to do that. So with right stick, click on that. Make sure whenever you have that selected, that blank selected, hit the push right on your joystick. And then when you click on the right stick there, make sure you can either push up on the joystick. So that makes sure it knows which axis it's supposed to go on when you're using the joystick on the right. Now let's go, there's one other section, that's the key config there. There's also one for whenever you're using the first person view. I don't know if it really does change very much. Let's go ahead and change those just to make sure. So for crawl button, this is going to be the same exact settings that we just did before. So for crawl, you're going to hit X. For punch, you're going to hit circle. For weapon, you're going to hit square. For action, you're going to hit triangle. For L1, you're actually going to hit L2. For L2, you're going to hit L1. For R1, you're going to hit R2 on your controller, and for R2, you're going to hit R1 on your controller. Again, L3, press in the left stick versus button 10. R3, press in for the right stick, should say button 11. The back key should be for options key there, so button 8, that's correct. Start, again, button 9, that's already correct. Should already be correct there. Make sure it says button 9 there. So that's for your options key on your PS4 controller. And then just go and just take where it says slow is not something you really use, so you just click that off. And again, make sure you unclick on the right stick. And for right stick X, you're going to hit either right or left on the control stick, on the right control stick, and on right stick Y, either hit up or down on the right control stick. So it should say Z on the top and RZ on the bottom. That corresponds right there. I'm just circling that so you know what I'm talking about. And then once you do that, I'm gonna check this real quick. Yes, and then make sure you hit OK. And once you have that, once you play the game, the controls should be exactly like you would play it if you were playing on Metal Gear Solid 2 on PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 on the HD collection. So definitely give that a try. It should work just great. I've already tried it myself. Works perfectly that way. You don't have to add any other mods or anything like that for it to work. So if you're not keen, if you want to play the game just normally without adding another type of mod, there's a special one. It's called V's Fix that's out there. That where if you're wanting to play this with an Xbox controller, you actually have to use it that way. But with the PlayStation 4 controller, fortunately, you don't have to do that. But I will be bringing a video out here, sometime here in the near future, to show you how to use V's Fix as well. But again, if you have a PlayStation 4 controller, you can use this method in order to use your controller to play Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance on PC through GOG.com. If you found this video useful, be sure to leave it a like, and if you want more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to where it says all notifications so you don't miss anything. This has been your host, Pudge007, and I'll see you in the next video.